Hare
The
Krishna,
broadcast.
everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So we're just practicing here. We're testing out our streaming, and I am with a dear friend, Manjari Gopika Devi Dasi. Manjari Gopika. So who's your spiritual master again?
His Holiness Radhanath Swami.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Jai. What a wonderful spiritual master. Yeah. So everything works on your end. So I guess we would do this and we would do Instagram at the same time with the phones.
That's
so
right.
we just leave them both at the same spot.
Yeah. It's good to have like a little prop maybe where you can prop up the phone because your wrist gets tired.
Yeah, for sure.
Are any of your famous people following you right now? Can you tell them about tomorrow?
Right now, we've got 6 people with us. And so, Hare Krishna, everyone who's here, nice to have you. And we are going to be live tomorrow at 4:30 talking about parenting challenges. Any questions you have, so get ready with your questions. We're going to be on the TKG Academy Facebook page and on Gopi Gita Shomakar page and on Instagram. And we want everybody to go over to Instagram and check out. Instagram is like the new thing. According to
can't fight it.
According to Manjari Gopika, she's here and she's like a very famous marketing specialist. She's a yoga teacher. She's a new parent at the school. Hare Krishna Mahendra, you're from Guyana. Nice to have you. Oh. Good morning. Tinkuri must be in India. Good morning. And so, Manjari, tell us a little bit about yourself because we've got a lot of people coming on.
Well, I'm pretty unqualified compared to you, the famous Gopi Gita Shomakar. Manjari Gopika, natural redhead. I am married
How did you meet Radhanath Maharaj?
How did I meet Radhanath Swami? You know, I lived in New York City for 11 years. I moved there to be an actress. I did off-Broadway. And I was very into yoga asanas. And but anyway, I started taking Bhagavad Gita classes at 26 2nd Avenue. And I just went around the corner. It took me like a year to actually walk around the block and go to Bhakti Center. And I met Radhanath Swami at some program there.
What year was this?
2012 or 13.
12 or 13, okay.
Yeah. But there would always be posters for him coming, you know, because he would go about twice a year. And whenever he was there, he would lead the Thursday night kirtan and give classes. And I don't actually remember maybe I do remember our first meeting. I was standing in the prasadam line for the restaurant. And he just came right up to me. And he went this. And,
classic.
And I started talking to him. And it was strange because I would go to a lot of, over the year, like the next year, I would go to programs and somehow, you know, he's someone that thousands of people are always lining the hallways trying to talk to. And somehow there would yet always be this moment where he and I would see each other.
Wow, that's really powerful. So I love what you said about 26 2nd Avenue being the first place that you read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, because Prabhupada started this movement with the 3 times a week classes. So for everyone who's joining, we're just doing a trial run right now. We're trying out 3 different streaming platforms. So tell us if this is working for you. Where are you watching from? Are you watching on the TKG page? Are you watching on the Gopi Gita page? Or are you watching on Instagram? Of course, right now we're not live on Instagram, but tomorrow, Friday at 4:30, we're going to be live on all 3 pages. We're going to be asking all kinds of parenting questions, and this is just a test. All right, so make sure you join us.
Yeah. Before we go, can I tell you how I ended up at 26 2nd Avenue?
Sure. Go ahead.
I think you're going to want to hear this story.
Okay.
Well, I was very into like the Beatles growing up. I'm wearing a Paul McCartney shirt right now. It's my pajamas, honestly. Anyway, I was very into the Beatles, and I took a college class called New Religious Movements in the United States. I was a Catholic at the time, and I was always very interested in learning about world religions. Anyway, there are not that many religions that were started in the United States. They've mostly been started elsewhere. We have the Mormons in the U.S., and we have the Shakers, who are now extinct. Anyway, I got to write a paper on a religious movement that was brought to the United States and became more popular here than there. So I was like, I'm going to learn about those Hare Krishnas because I just really want to listen to Beatles records.
And
was the
what
real
class
reason.
was this? Was it a world religions class you said?
New religious movements in the United States. It was a
Interesting.
sociological and theological course at my university. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how I heard about Prabhupada. And I remember my thesis for that paper was all about, right place, right time. I read about how he did the parade in I didn't know it was the Jagannath Festival. Rath Yatra, thank you. Anyway, so I was like, 1967, Summer of Love, just talking about the Beatles. Anyway, I got like an A- in that paper. I remember being annoyed because I thought I deserved better.
Oh, because you thought it was better, but at least you an A, right?
I remember reading like the temple schedule in one of the books I'd gotten from the library about how they get up at 4:30 and you there's no eating and no eating. There's lots of eating in ISKCON. There's no eating. I remember reading that and going, these people, they're very disciplined and I don't know why people make fun of them. Anyway, fast forward a few years, I totally was not on the evaluative principles page yet. So I went to New York and I was living my actress life. And then I started practicing yoga asanas. And my teacher, Bryn Chrisman, in that class she had a picture.
Bryn, I know her really well.
She had a picture, Yoga Maya, right? She had a picture of Krishna on the wall, and she just said something about the Bhagavad Gita. And I thought, the Bhagavad Gita. I wrote about that book in that paper. I think I want to read it now because it's all about yoga, right? And so I went online and I was determined to find that version by Prabhupada because it was the only version I'd ever heard of because of the college paper that I'd written 4 years earlier. So anyway, I couldn't find it anywhere. This was before Amazon was a thing. That's how old I am. I was calling bookstores, being like, do you have this translation by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada? They didn't. I don't remember how I found it online somehow. The point of this is I bought that book. I tried reading it on the subway on the way to work. And I was like, this is hard.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
This is harder than I thought. So
and
then
you were buying. Keep going. Go ahead.
You gotta end this story, Gopagita. Tomorrow will be more of a conversation. I just love this story about my life. So then I was like, this is really hard. This is really hard because it's like, there are so many names. When they're standing the Kurukshetra battlefield, it's like this guy's name and he's lined up with this guy. And I was like, what is happening? And then there's long reports talking about like, I don't know, the Katha Upanishad. I was like, I need a class. So I just Googled Bhagavad Gita as it is class with my zip code. Up popped 26 2nd Avenue every Saturday at 5:30. So I was like, I'm going to go. So I went there. I was the first person there. They had to like open the curtain. There were these people in these dresses with the tilak, and I'd never seen any tilak before. Anyway, I went there for that class, and I went there every Saturday for 2 years. And they told me later, they were like, you showed up with the Bhagavad Gita. We'd never seen that before. Like you already had the book and you were like, you had highlighted it.
Wow.
Anyway, I just think
that's really philosophical. Manjari, that's so philosophical that you started like Krishna consciousness through an intellectual pursuit. I love that. That was beautiful. And anybody who's studied about Srila Prabhupada knows that Srila Prabhupada literally started this movement with his little flyer and Bhagavad Gita. So that's a really, and right now we're studying Bhagavad Gita in this, in so many different ways. I'm teaching Bhagavad Gita with my lower elementary students and upper elementary students. I connected to science. And so the lower elementary students are learning the human anatomy unit, and they're learning all the second chapter verses about how we're not this body and happiness and pain and then temporary senses. And then with my middle schoolers and high schoolers, the sadhana class in the morning, we're studying a really in-depth Bhakti Sastri course of Bhagavad Gita. And they just finished learning who Drona and Dronacharya and Drupada are. And now we're moving through the first chapter. So I definitely know all those names that you were talking about.
Awesome.
And we got so many people here with us. Please do come tomorrow at 4:30, especially if you are a mother or a father, a parent or a grandparent, or are planning on having children, or have parents yourself. Basically everybody. Yes. All right, we will see you later. So
4:30 Central Time. 4:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yes. Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.